Welcome to episode 4 of Love in Quarantine. Thank you so much for the love and support that each and every one of you have shown for the past few days. And I was going through some of the comments that I have received so far, and I thought that I should discuss the prequel with you for better understanding. So here it goes. The story revolves around the protagonist of the story, Rakesh, who had relocated to Bangalore a few days back prior to uh, the nationwide lockdown um, that had been imposed to fight deadly virus. The story further goes on to depict how the normal life suddenly changes and Rakesh, who had been far away from his home and loved ones, find it difficult at times to cope up with it and adjust to the new life, new uh, life which involved the household chores and everything. And in midst of all this chaos and confusion, he suddenly discovers the love of his life. Sounds interesting, right? I know. But before I go ahead with today's session, I just want to take this opportunity to dedicate this episode to all the mothers around the world and to my mom as well, since we are going to uh, celebrate the Mother's Day this Sunday. And stay tuned and make sure you watch this video till the end. Uh, and mm, ensure and then you will be able to figure out why it is so relatable with Mother's Day. So, without wasting further of your time, I would start with today's session. I got my six string, brought it at five and dime, played it till my fingers bled. Was the summer of '69. The usual 7 o'clock morning alarm started playing. Rakesh, who had been in deep sleep a few moments earlier, shook off and somehow tried to reach out for his phone to turn it off. Being an early 90s kid, his all-time favorites included the likes of Bryan Adams, Bon Jovi, and Eagles. Besides, this this one was one of the few songs he mm, played and sang to when he started to take up guitar lessons. He was generally an early to bed and early to rise person because he was of the belief that if someone starts the day early with some active workout, it helps the mind and the body to come in sync, which enables the person to have a productive day all throughout. But today was slightly different since he was still struggling out to leave the bed and in between all this there was a hustle between the heart and the brain where the former was of the opinion that he should uh, be laying back uh, for some more minutes under the warm sheets of the bed, while the later was of the favor that he should immediately leave the bed and start his day and head for the workout. Eventually, the later won, and with uh, with although he was unsure, it Rakesh left the bed somehow and went to freshen up, which was followed by hot water with lime and honey, which acted as a detox before he headed for the workout. In a normal day, he would usually have headed for the gym by now, but given the current scenario, since gyms and other places where there's a large gathering of people have been temporarily shut down, he had quickly switched to uh, home workout, which had started gaining popularity among the fitness freaks. It had been quite an intensive hour-long workout, which made Rakesh quite drenched in sweat as he took a rest, uh, took a while to rest since the workout ended. He tried to figure out what the next work was in line waiting for him, and he figured out that it was cooking followed by doing the dishes. These two additional work, and along with cleaning the house quite often, have been added to his uh, daily routine now, since the house help has also been confined like him uh, at home with an unforeseen future ahead. Though Rakesh was a connoisseur of good food and often was seen making healthy recipes during his time out or in weekends, but this everyday cooking session and doesn't seem to quite go with his life, and um, he was facing quite a tough time adapting to this new change. He quickly uh, looked at his phone to check the time to ensure that he wasn't running late uh, before uh, he he started with his day at office from started with his day in office from home. There was almost 1.5 hours left before his usual office hours started. So he, without wasting further time, he quickly went to the kitchen, brought out some vegetables and meat from the refrigerator, and within no time prepared a chicken curry, followed by brown rice, which he had learned from his father back at home when he used to make it for the entire family during his weekends or time off. And interestingly, uh, this dish, these dishes were the easiest and the fastest dishes that Rakesh had learned to prepare after Maggie, thanks to the quarantine. He swiftly checked the phone once again to get hold of the time and rushed to the restroom for a shower and get ready for office. Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Asked Rakesh as he adjusted his headset to get ready for the meeting and put on the video. Yes, yes, you are audible, Rakesh. You may proceed with today's agenda of the meeting, came the reply from his manager. Thank you. Thank you, sir, replied Rakesh curtly and went ahead with the meeting. It was almost close to lunchtime that the meeting uh, went on discussing and debating on the various aspects as to how the uh, business model should look like. And it was widely acknowledged by most of the attendees that the way forward would heavily depend on how the situation goes and also on the decision taken by the government. Till then, it was finalized that the work should go on and as it is for the time being. Rakesh was famished and waiting for the meeting to somehow come to an end, so that he can grab the delicacy that he had prepared in the morning. Hence, as soon as the meeting ended, he rushed to the kitchen and rushed to the kitchen to grab the tasty meal. While he sat on the table enjoying and savoring the delicacy, he scrolled through his phone and mm, quickly moved to WhatsApp to check if there was any uh, communication or message from Pi. But unfortunately, there was none. Rakesh introspected as to what might have gone wrong that Pyle, who had suddenly stopped talking as suddenly as she started talking to him. And the only thing that came up to his mind was just simple as she might have been busy with her life, like he was. And the idea popped that he should go ahead and text her, checking that if everything's okay on her half. But this idea was dismissed as soon as it popped up, since he felt that he might sound desperate. Putting an end to all the chaos and confusion that was going on in his mind regarding this particular incident, he thought that it would be best that he would concentrate on the uh, sumptuous meal that was in front of him. After having a good meal and a good lunch, Rakesh put the dishes aside and went back to work since he had another meeting with his team. It was almost close to 7 o'clock in the evening that Rakesh was finally done for the day with work. Hence, he went outside to, to his terrace to get some fresh air. As he looked away from his terrace, he could see a middle aged woman sitting on a concrete bench adjacent to a house. She wore a ragged green sari, which was almost turning to black due to not being washed for a long time. Her hair was ruffled, and by the looks of it, seemed that she hadn't oiled or brushed her hair long time. Time has neither been kind to her, as this could be easily made out from the temples of her forehead, which was crinkled, and so was was the skin of her face and hands. She was sitting barefoot as if waiting for someone. Few minutes later, she was seen calling someone from opposite side of the road. Rakesh quickly shifted his gaze to find a young boy in barefoot with a plastic bag crossing the road. He seemed to be the son of the lady sitting in the bench. Unlike his mom, he had a white cover over his nose and mouth, like a mask, as issued as was issued by the government to cover one's nose and mouth while going outside, since as per research it was concluded that nose, eyes and mouth pose a big threat through which the deadly virus can enter into the human body. He too had been wearing a tattered white shirt, which was turning blackish by now, and similar kind of shorts. Rakesh felt terrible as he observed the mother and son. He began to wonder how uh, they are struggling to survive in this hard time, since they had no work in hand, which which concluded that there would be a scarcity of food. He could clearly make out the pain and agony in their faces, and the distress that they were going through. But what amused him was was the simple smile that formed formed on on the lady's face as she and her son chatted. He found it amusing to see how they haven't forgotten to smile even in those hard times. In a time when social distancing, face masks, gloves, repeated washing of hands has become a top priority, there were some people like um, like the ones Rakesh was seen overlooking his terrace, who still doesn't have a proper roof over their head, clean water to drink, and food to eat, making them the most vulnerable and prone to the attack of the unknown enemy, the deadly virus. With this, we come to the end of today's session. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you want to know what happened with Payal and why she suddenly stopped chatting with Rakesh, stay tuned for the next episode where you might be able to find out what happens. Till then, make sure you like this video and share it with your loved ones whom you think might love it. Stay tuned and stay safe, stay indoors. Till then, bye and take care.